What's going on, CUT Collective? I am so excited to bring you episode number 14 of The Rewind. It is where we rewind on the lesson sermons from Christ Universal Temple's amazing, powerful Sunday worship services. We're rewinding on the lesson from June 2026. And I was getting ready to say the Reverend, but soon to be Reverend Gavin Jackson will be sitting in the hot seat today. We're going to unpack his sermon, In Command and Control. And so here it is. Every now and then, actually mostly every time, there is a word in every message for you. And I feel like this one was specifically crafted for me. And so I'm excited that we're going to unpack the lesson. It's your opportunity here as a part of our greater Christ Universal Temple community to tap in with one another, to ask questions, to really literally sit at the feet of the person that gave the lesson and ask the questions that you need to hear the answers to, so that you can have the breakthrough that you're ready for. So I hope you are locked and loaded in with us, whether you are with us live or if you are with us and you're seeing this after the recording. All good. Here's what I want you to do, because it's the same thing no matter if you're watching it live or not, is to go ahead and share this with your audience. Let people know what's going on, so you got some better stuff to talk about. Anybody needs some better stuff to talk about? This is going to give you some food to talk about, something that will help you, that will enrich you, that will help you shift your mind. So you go ahead and share that. And then, of course, wherever you're listening, subscribe, because it's just good manners. Okay. It's good manners to just go ahead and subscribe where you're listening, so that you can know when we're going live, when we're sharing these messages live, because it's fun live too. And then also I want you to, I said, to like it. So again, good manners, just go ahead and like it. Trust me, you're going to like it. So just go ahead and like it in advance. And that way we all know that we got a good thing going, and you're helping to push this out to the rest of the world. And so we appreciate your support with that. I'm going to bring Gavin in just a second. Before I bring him in, I want to tell you a little bit about Christ Universal Temple. The temple is based out of Chicago, Illinois, and the senior minister is the Reverend Dr. Derek B. Wells, founded by the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. And it is a powerful force in the community. And so one of the cool things about where we are in this space and time is that the impact reverberates, right? So before it was, you have to have somebody that shares a tape, that shares a CD, or they move away and share the message with someone else. That's how messages would go around the world. Or that leader would just literally go around the world and talk to people. But let me tell you where we are right now is that you're a part of that energy that reverberates around the world, that takes this message of good, of truth, of overcoming, of power, of love, and share. And when you share it, you're shifting the landscape of the world. And so I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for being a part of this powerful community. I'm going to bring on Gavin so that we can unpack the lesson sermon for today. How are you, Gavin?
Spectacular. Always happy to be here with you. I was making sure that I was also sharing on my Facebook page.
It's a good thing. You know what? I had actually intended to, that's my bad. I meant to share this on IG. I may do that while we are reviewing the clips and just start us up on IG. But what I want to do is, thank you for this lesson, that there is always a prayer that I pray when I'm sitting there listening, and I invite people into it, which is, let me have ears to hear what's mine to hear.
Right.
Let me have ears to hear what's mine to hear. There's a breakthrough message in here, and you gave me some goodies.
Good.
I love how you opened up with God is in control, God is in command, but we got work to do. And so your whole sermon was about what we have to do in order to be in alignment with God being in control, because, why not have some grace and ease in this life of ours?
Yeah, no, it was really important to get that out front, because, we know God's in charge. We know God is the only power. And then sometimes we forget, like, what is our role in that? To make sure that we have access to, all the goodness that's already ours.
Yeah, I'm here for all the goodness that's already mine.
Yes.
that part. What I'm going to focus on today, because you gave these 3 specific tips, and sometimes I actually act like I'm going to bury the lead, but you put it out there at the top. So I'm going to put it out there that you gave us 3 steps, the work we have to do, which was to listen, to obey, and to speak. And what I found to be really profound is that I think that the obedience, the listening, all of those, like, nothing that was drastically new, but what I believe to be true about our message is that it's always, you hear it right at the time that you need to hear it. And nobody can deliver it like you did. It was such a powerful word. Just while I'm plugging how powerful the word is, if you want to listen to the message in its entirety, you can see it on YouTube. And just go to @CU Temple, or you can watch it on Facebook. But I know YouTube, it lives forever. So go ahead and check out the full message. But in the meantime, I want to talk about this idea. You talked about listening, and it's
Mhm.
listening to what? What am I listening for? If God is in control and God is in command, and I have some things that I have to do, and
Right.
one of them is listening, what am I listening for?
So that was kind of the easiest one. It's just kind of knowing it. It is
Mhm.
because I'm teaching God's word as spiritual intuition.
Okay.
That still, small voice, that tingle in your belly, that that you were supposed to do this, and maybe you're like try to talk yourself out of it. Listening is actually being brave to the intuition brave enough to follow the intuition that you already have.
Mhm.
So it's
Mm.
like, don't ignore it. We all have that intuition. We've all used it before. We've all used it before where we got that still small voice, and we listened to it and it worked. Why don't we do it all the time?
Yeah.
So listening, divine intuition is listening.
So okay, so just, and mind you, this isn't where I was going with this, because I have a question I wanted to
Let's
ask right
go. Let's
about
go. Let's
that
go.
flows. But you say, so listening to my intuition. How am I
Yes.
listening to my intuition? Like, honestly, like when it comes down to it, what are the ways I can tap in? Because there's so much that's going on in my mind.
Right. Well, so at the end of the lesson, I was very clear to put this out there. It's individual to each person. So, I gave the example that, on the same mountain, Moses encountered God as a burning bush.
Mm-hmm.
Prophet encountered God as still small voice.
Yeah.
It is different for everyone. But when you know that God is tapping on your heart to say, it is time to do this, or it is time to stop doing that. It's not a questionable thing. It is right. Is do you really want to listen to it? Because a lot of times the instructions are they're not the thing you want to do right at the moment.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna push on that, because you can you can listen to this is, wait a minute. First of all, I want to make sure that everybody in the world know that I'm not projecting my whole life into this podcast.
That's
Just so you know.
that's
All right.
all good.
All right. So this is not about
Confession
me, it's about
time.
the
It's a confession. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
this is not confession session. But what I want to say is that there is a lot of influence. Like there's I've
Yes.
shared this before, that my first teacher, the Reverend Dolores McMillan, said that when I was asking her about, like, okay, so how do I know which voice is the voice of God in me? And she
Hmm.
said, how many people speaking into your mind? And that, like, but that is right there. The thing is that there's so many stories, so many impressions that are going on in your mind. Like, how can you discern which is the voice of God? What is the guidance of spirit? What is your intuition?
Yeah. So for me, it definitely feels different, right? Like you can be easily convinced. Like if something is not going the way you want it to go, you can be
Mm-hmm.
easily convinced that, well, this is God telling me not to do this. And that may not be the case. You might
Mm-hmm.
just be scared to do it.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do it, or you only know one steps and it's 10 steps. So a lot of times you can confuse ego with the voice of God. You can confuse fear with the voice of God. You can confuse outside information coming from social media. It is way more internal than that. And
Mm-hmm.
it does not go away. If you strip away all of your, I don't have a better way to say it, if you strip away all of your intellectual understanding of how things are going to work, and that idea is still there, you say, well, that intellectually doesn't make sense, but that thought isn't going away.
Mm-hmm.
That likely is the voice of God in you. But again, it's individual to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've taught about this impression. Like if I'm praying, and prayer is a conversation, that there should be something coming back on the it's not a one-sided conversation. And I think that one of the greatest ways to elevate your prayer experience is to consider it a conversation and be quiet sometimes so that you can get the other part of the conversation.
Right.
I know that, as we develop in our prayer practice, we may start off with essentially a lot of requests. Right. So it is, gimme, please, 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 amen.
Right.
And then we evolve from there. But I think the part of the evolution in order to get the juice out of this message is that there has to be a space where you listen now for the direction that you've been asking for. I'm gonna play this clip and then and we'll unpack it some more. But this is about you're talking about the spiritual discipline it takes to unlock our success, and this listening is key one.
Don't let anybody tell you that you are not worthy of the very best right now. Without regard to anything that happened in the past, you deserve it today, this hour. So there's a few steps that we have to take to make sure that you get what you deserve. The first step I want to give you is you got to listen. You have got to listen. You have got to pay attention to the message that God is giving you. When God talks to you, he talks to us through spiritual intuition. Spiritual intuition.
So again, I want to urge y'all to watch this entire sermon because it's just, I literally try my best to be, to not pull everything. We just sit and watch it together. It'll be a watch party instead of a podcast. But this idea of going through the prophet Elijah and how he was able to discern the presence of God within him, guiding and directing, was that in the midst of the storm. So you talked about that in the midst of the storm, there are things that you are discerning and ignoring, right? Like there are things you gotta be able to ignore some things. And I think that that's probably right there, like the entire message could stop right there, because when we're in the midst of a storm, we're so focused on the weather, so focused on what's going on, the rain and the wind and all of the things going on in my life, right? And it's saying you said silence yourself in the storm.
Yes.
So it's silencing yourself, ignoring what's going on in your like ignoring the problem?
Absolutely not. So it's not like putting your head in the sand, but it is turning your attention away from it long enough. When the earthquakes and the fire are all around you, of course you want to pay attention to the earthquakes and the fire because that's a natural intellectual response. But the answer to the seeming problem is not within the problem. So you have to have a practice to mentally turn away from the problem so that you can turn within and get the instructions that you need. And that's not necessarily easy. If there is, for instance, a seemingly huge financial obligation, staring at and worrying about and being, engulfed mentally by that is a natural intellectual thing to do, but you might miss the answer to the problem because you're only looking at the seeming problem.
Yeah.
So that's the practice.
But so spiritual practice is important. I like to break it down in ways that I can remember, because it feels like something that you can skip, right? Yes. I know God loves me, and I can skip the relationship building part. And the image that comes to mind is that I was in the airport running a little late for my flight. Anybody who has flown with me knows that I essentially apparently just wants private travel, because I like to walk up to the gate and they're like I'm boarding. That's how I like to come into the airport, where I literally walk up to the
time
gate.
it out. Huh? Oh boy.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to sit. I don't want to snack. I just want to get right on when I roll up. So that puts me sometimes in precarious positions. And I'm in the airport, and I get to where we're going to go up to get to where I think it's even before security, and the escalator's broken. And I don't know where the elevator is. And I look up at the escalator like, crap. I grab my bag and just start kind of jogging up the stairs. Now, let me tell you, you dial that back to a time that I did miss a flight as I'm trying to huff and puff my way down because I wasn't in shape enough to be able to swiftly move through the airport. So that's how I think about spiritual practice, is that when the challenge comes, like, how in shape are you to be able to position yourself to hear. And that, so listening is a practice that that I'm just emphasizing. And you're saying it's a practice. I like that word, to put it as part of a practice.
Yes. But so there's a flip side to that also. And I'm glad you brought up the airport analogy, because also sometimes actually this time I need to get there early. I don't know why, but I know that I probably need to leave my house an hour earlier than I want to.
Yep.
And you hear it and you feel it and you ignore it because intellectually you don't like that.
Yeah.
Because that means if you're wrong, if your intuition is wrong, now you have to sit, with the unwashed masses, for 2 hours in the terminal, which is not what you want to do. But you heard it though. You heard it. No, this time.
Unwashed masses.
You're the one that says you're uncomfortable sitting there.
It's not about the people.
My point is, when that nudge comes, don't ignore it.
Yeah. No,
I had an international flight, short flight, a couple of weeks. Actually, I was in Toronto with our family in Toronto, Verity Truth Center in Toronto.
Shout out to Verity.
And I wanted to play with it because flying to Toronto is pretty easy. Like, you don't really go through a lot leaving. You don't go through a lot coming back. And the first time I traveled there in the winter, it was super easy. No traffic. Got there early. Waited around for 2 hours in the airport. And so I almost said I don't need to leave 3 hours, early to get there. My home is an hour away. And something told me, no, don't play with it. Like why play with it? Don't play with it. And I'm glad I didn't play with it, because there were a couple little bumps and bruises on the 294 tollway to get there that had I played with it, I may have missed out on my opportunity to be with our family to the north.
This is why, like I said, the practice of it, so that I can discern between, I don't know who coined it, but it was mine was monkey mind. Like just random thoughts of fear and anxiety that just can be floating in your mind. And then really what is divine direction? And I'll tell you that the way that I have discovered it and continue to discover it within me is trying it out, right? Like some of it is just following it. And when things go smoothly, you can't necessarily see what was what did I miss something? I assume that everything went smoothly, then the delay I missed because I moved in divine order. It's kind of like you're in traffic and all of a sudden it opens up and you're looking for the accident. Like there had to be some reason for the delay. Well, no, your flow now is showing you that whatever the delay was, there's order now. There's order established. So if that makes any sense. But the bigger thing so it just kind of how this builds, you talked about first listening, and then the second step is to obey, because we can listen, we can get divine direction. You can get the lottery number.
That's it. You gotta go play it.
You gotta go play it. This is probably why I won't hit the lotto, is because I won't go play. That's okay. Let me play the clip. Let me play the clip. See, it's a lovely sunny day here in Los Angeles, and I am in a very sunny mood. Here's clip number 2.
This is spiritual guidance for obedience and provision, but I want you to pay close attention to this. It says Abraham saw.
Wait a minute. I want to set this up a little bit so that it makes sense in context. Okay. So you're talking about Abraham sacrificing Isaac, right? That
yes.
that's what he listened, and that's what he was told to do.
Right.
And the worst part of this story is that sometimes you're listening, you told what to do, and you don't really want to do it.
No. Right.
Right. Who would want to do that? Who would want to sacrifice their son, right?
I think that's why it's such a great example.
Yeah. Yeah. And but I like to remind myself that often that the divine direction I get is going to be counter to maybe what's going on in my experience. I'm not going to, it may not be immediately, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I want to do that. I'm going to do that hard thing. Let's do it. It's something that I may have some resistance to. And so I just, that story helps me to remember that too, that guidance may not look like the easy path.
But once you have ingrained in you your worthiness, like once you have ingrained in you that you were made to win, that you're going to win, then it's easier to listen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have ingrained in you the fear of failure, the fear of how things are working out, then it's hard to listen. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's why I started with number one, you're worthy. And once you really impress that into yourself, now you can listen.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna finish playing the clip. This was a good one.
Ram caught by a thicket. That means the ram couldn't go anywhere if it wanted to. When God shows you, I've got another solution for you, it's got your name on it. It can't go nowhere if it wants to. It's up to you to stay tuned in so that you can hear all the instructions to the end. So when you say, I know I'm not supposed to eat like this, God will put a new taste in your mouth if you are obedient. When you say, I know that it is time for me to replace this hurtful relationship, God will bring you a love like you have never known before. Let it go. God will place you in circles of elevated consciousness. There's a ram in the bush for you, and it's caught. It's not going anywhere. It already belongs to you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
You said that the provision can't go anywhere because it has your name on it.
Yes. That is something that our dear founder, the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, would say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That your blessing has your name on it. Your good has your name on it. And that's important because you could feel like this divine instruction that I'm being given intellectually seems like it's pulling me away from my blessing.
Yeah.
Intellectually, I don't know how I get from A to B with what I'm being told to do. But sometimes that's none of our spiritual business.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
ram is going to be there. The way out is going to be there. The provision is going to be there. It's stuck. It's not going anywhere. When you get to the right time in the right place, it'll show up.
But I think that also what this story is telling us too is that the resistance is going to be there. The fear is going to be there. Like it's,
Yeah.
like you talked about 3 days to talk, it was a 3-day journey. So it was 3
Yes.
days to talk himself out of being obedient and doing this
Mhm.
thing. And I think that that's not to say that, the way that I teach, I like to remind people that we got to keep it real. Like, this path of spiritual mastery is, once you say yes, it doesn't mean that everything unfolds and there's just, beauty and love and ease right before you. That ease may look like something you have to insist upon by your
Mhm.
choice, by your, but which means that if I have to choose ease, that means that dis-ease is also on the table. Like that,
Right.
the crooked way is also on the table, and I have to choose to stay obedient. And that's the part that I think that anybody who is trying to get rid of an addiction, or you to release an addiction, or to shift a really, really ingrained habit, is that obedience is the resistance is going to be there. So don't wait until you feel like it.
Right.
You know.
And note that the story has it has a time frame in it. A 3-day walk. That's a
Mhm.
long walk, no matter what.
It is a long walk.
So the scripture isn't saying like the instruction and then following the instruction, the means to following instruction were immediate. There's a whole journey within that.
Mhm.
And I think that's important because number one, they really had time to turn back.
Yeah.
They really had a lot of time to sit down and say, what's happening here? And scripture also, all the translations point out, it says Isaac, whom he loved. So that it was clear, like, this isn't some kid I really don't want to anyway.
Your favorite
This
kid.
is the challenge of challenges. This is
Yeah.
the most difficult thing you could possibly be asked to do. You couldn't ask for anything more difficult.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of time to think about it before you have to do it. I believe that's all in there to be instructive to us.
Mhm.
That it's not always going to make sense. Even thinking about what we're being told to do is going to bring up confusion, it's going to bring up fear, it's going to bring up maybe even pain. But when that intuition keeps kicking you, you have to be obedient and just let it unfold.
And you had said something like, I'm not sure how it got into because I love our little catchphrases, things that people say all over, and may not necessarily know your place in it. You said let go and let God. So in that moment of high resistance, the challenge is to let go and let God. And I love that. I've sang songs about it.
Mhm.
But let go, let God can be perceived as just kind of Jesus take the wheel kind of thing. Like I can close my eyes and just let God take over. But you said the let go was my part, right? So it's not just let go, it's let go of what?
Yes. Let
Your
go is hard work.
You said let go of your previously conceived notions. That
Right.
you have to let go of the way you thought it was going to work out. You have to let go of how hard the challenge is. You got to let go of that. And again, not that the word is always crafted for me, but the word is always crafted for me. That it
Right.
is.
Hey, me too. I'd say
Yeah.
it all the time. I am the first recipient of any lesson I teach.
Yes. This was, I mean, like literally the what to let go of is the story. There's a
Yeah.
story that you've been telling yourself that is not serving what you're being guided to be, do, and have.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the biggest barrier for you to be fulfilled with by the good desire of your heart. That's it. So
Right. But you got to get out of the way sometimes.
yeah. So there's so far we've been told to do two hard things, right? We got to listen,
Yes.
and listening requires at some point maybe being quiet
Mhm.
to stop your own dialogue so that you can hear what's coming the other way. Not always easy. Not always easy. Second thing I have to do is to obey, right? So if I get this divine word, it's not like the word goes off and does it. I have to be in alignment with it. I got to obey. And then there's a third thing. And again, not the easiest thing. This sermon that kind of sucked. Like it wasn't like it felt like a hug, but it was really like a vice grip. Like it was the more I think about it, this is pretty tough, because the third one is talking about the way that we speak. And so and being mindful of what we say. So I'm going to play this clip and we can talk some more about our unruly mouth. Here we
Right.
go.
We have to watch the way we speak because we're doing big things. Is that right? And so sometimes doing big things requires you to think in big ways. It requires you to listen, requires you to be obedient, but you have to watch the way you speak. And again, maybe I put so much emphasis on speaking is because growing up here in this church, as a little kid, if I said something like, "Oh man, I'm so stupid," that'd be the worst thing I could say to my parents. I could almost get away with saying a four-letter word before saying something negative about the nature of God in me, because that resonates in your experiences.
You said that there's a few things. So first, that what you're saying about yourself resonates
Mhm.
in your experience.
Yes. Absolutely. You're like casting a spell over everything happening in your world.
Mm.
And I'll just tell this because we love our podcast family. I was thinking about teaching really kind of all three things that we're taught to do, which is right thinking, right speaking, right action. And then there's sometimes some add-ons to that. But the speaking part to me, and for the sake of time, I said, well, we're going to just dive right into the speaking, and particularly how you speak about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're programming your own consciousness, but you're programming a field of consciousness around you. And just on an intellectual level, you're reminding yourself how you should be treated and what you should expect. And you're reminding people around you, reminding your environment how you should be treated and what you expect. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's so important. I said, well, we're just going to keen in right on speaking, and particularly I am statements.
Mm-hmm. And there's a clip I pulled because I endeavor in life, and I know I'm not alone in this, right? We're vibing together to do big things.
Yes.
And you said some real interesting things in the survey. You said to sometimes doing big things requires you to think in big ways. So that right there is something you can pause and reflect on, people. I'm just
Mhm.
giving this to you. I'm giving you some things to reflect on, people.
Right.
It requires you to listen. It requires you to be obedient, and you have to watch the way you speak. So being mindful of your language, I think that ingest sometimes, or I have this whole theory that it'll be in somebody's book. I've said it too many times now, but there's a language of complaining, I think, that you can get caught up in, where
Yeah.
the way that we talk to each other is, if someone asks you how you're doing, it opens the door. Or even a really good friend wants to know what's going on with you, and somehow inevitably it gets to be a list of all the things that aren't going right.
Right.
But you said that if I want to do big things, I have to think in big ways, and that what I think, what I say, it shows up in my experience. Like there's all of these things can be contrary at the same time. Like right within you got these big ideas, and God is with me, and then somebody says, "Well, how you're doing?" And it's like uchi owie, ooey owie, like like everything.
Right.
and then and then I'm wondering why what's magnified in my experience doesn't reflect the big thing that I say that I want to
Well,
do, that I
those
want to be, that I want to
conversations are entertaining.
have. Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
just at just a base level. Like those conversations are entertaining, so it's easy to just get kind of pulled in. And I gave the example of gas price conversations
Yeah.
because the gas prices are irritating. And it can be fun to have that conversation with every third person you see, but all that negative talk is adding up, and it's not balanced against you speaking life into your experience.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
not saying you can never complain, like, we're here, it's fun, whatever. But how much are you doing it? And how
Yeah.
intentional are you with your words when it comes to your own good, your own big, big, big good?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
having all these small level conversations about $5 gas when you really want to be working on a $5,000, $5 million, or whatever blessing for yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't fit both in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
just can't.
it is to be vigilant over your words. This recent hike in gas prices specifically. I live in Los Angeles, and so gas has always been higher than other places. And the and I made a decision. I'm like, I don't want to care. Like I don't want this to be a part of my mind. Every time I go, I'm thinking about how high the gas is. It's and so I had that I had long let go of, but because it's now a new conversation, it's like I'm looking at the gas price. I never cared. I went and there's a famous station. If you guys are ever in Los Angeles, you want to do the tour, the random tour that nobody will take you on. There is a gas station at the corner of Olympic and San Vicente that is notoriously $2 higher than any place else in the city. It's a random gas station that if the gas is $4.99, it's $6.99, $7.99. Like and I'm thinking, who goes to this gas station
Right.
it's notorious for being there. There are always people going up to this gas station because somebody does not care.
Somebody doesn't care. And so
Somebody
in
does not
Chicago,
care.
one of the things that we like to complain about is our weather, because we just have extreme weather. Like right now in Chicago, it's like 100 degrees, or it's like 95, but like 90% humidity. So they're saying it feels like 104 degrees right now. But then
Mm-hmm.
6 months from now, it'll be 2 degrees. And we'll be complaining about how it's two. The high today is one digit. And that's a conversation.
Right,
And
right.
and all of these things are fact, not truth, but all of them are
Mhm.
fact. But if you get pulled into that so much about, oh man, it's so hot. Oh man, it's raining 10 days in a row. Oh my goodness, it's a foot of snow. And those are all of your conversations. You are not speaking success to the point
Yeah.
where the weather does not ruin your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have access to air conditioning because you speak the truth.
Yeah.
You have warmth, and you have warm clothes because you speak the truth. You have shelter from the rain because you speak the truth, more than you are, entranced by the actual weather going on. And
Mhm.
so that's
Mhm.
why I'm just saying, speak life, speak truth, speak what you want, more than you're getting pulled in these conversations.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
after a while, you live above it anyway. When you really get your spiritual mojo going, you're in it but not of it. And that's what you want to aspire to be.
Hmm. And sometimes it's a timing thing, right? Like if you recognize that you're doing a big thing, that you got a big thing going on, it's a big challenge, a big opportunity in front of you, it's a chance to really sharpen your speech to make sure that, I'm essentially putting myself into a field, into an
Yes.
energy where there is no space for complaining about these little things, because I'm charging the atmosphere with the yes I've said, the agreement I made with God. And so that to me is like, it doesn't, like you said, you don't have to, it's not eliminating things from your conversation, but there's a time for it. And if you're dealing with a big financial opportunity in front of you, talking about gas is not empowering it. It's not fueling you for that. There's always provision, that there's a ram in the bush. And find some people that you can talk about the ram in the bush with, as
Yes.
opposed to somebody that's going to talk about the gas price. And that part is where the community comes and is so important. And I stand for our UFBL communities, and Christ Universal Temple and Up Church and Verity, and One God went to all these churches around the country. Find people in your community that's talking about provision, that's talking about the goodness of God in a way that is practical, right? That you can wrap your mind and live your life through, not just kind of watching somebody else live the goodness of God. Like it's for me.
Yeah.
And we're all about, how do you get to it?
And people will stop bringing you mess
Yeah.
when you become less receptive to it. But those circles that you talk about, they matter.
Mhm.
Where two or three are gathered in the name of Christ, Christ is in the midst.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where a few people are gathered in the name of mess, mess is in the midst.
Yeah.
There is a flip side to that collective consciousness idea. And we always think of collective consciousness as a positive thing, but it does not know what is good or bad.
Hmm.
Collective consciousness works,
Hmm.
whether
Hmm.
it's collective on the good things you want in your life, or it is collective on things that you don't want in your experience at all.
Right.
So watch the collective that you are in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's why our online community is called the
The
collective. And you got to,
collective.
it is absolutely about, the power in your own spiritual journey, and having champions, and having, like minds that are traveling along with you. There's a thinking about quick ways to shift, right? So in this day and age where we're in right now, there's a thing called the algorithm, right?
Hmm.
And the idea of the algorithm is, you speak a word into your phone, and now you start to see that thing
Right.
come up all over and over again. But what I've discovered is that what you're focused on, you'll start to see way more of. So my algorithm, and mind you, I am probably one of the most disconnected people right now in terms of social media, but I love the Michael movie. And for a while, my
Hmm.
algorithm made sure that I got
Right.
to experience Michael Jackson. Like my algorithm was like, she wants Michael. And so I was seeing some 70s Michael. I was seeing just stuff about the movie, but that's what was happening. So what I focused on began to expand in a real way online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was what I focused on before, and it just kept magnifying, and I kept looking at the same thing. So I thought about that when you have a problem and you start to see more opportunity. My problem with the gas begins to lighten how much groceries are, and and what money am I making, and I just start to amplify not enough.
Yes.
Right? The algorithm keeps giving me back opportunities to talk about how there's not enough, and you end up in a valley experience. So you came up with it. You didn't write the song, but you shared a song that
Yeah.
I forgot how dope this song is, right? And it
Mhm.
is the Keith Pringle song. I don't know what the name of the song is, but it's I Can't Stop Praising His Name.
Right. Call them
If you
up.
could call him up, if you confess the Lord, call him up and
Yes.
tell him what you want.
Hmm.
And then you do that, and then you get to I just can't stop praising. Like I thought that was so beautiful, but the true beauty to me, and I'm going to play this clip just because I just thought that it was such a great example of when things aren't going your way. What is a valley, and
Right.
how do you get yourself out of the valley? So here we go. This is a bonus for you guys. Again, go watch this sermon, June 26, 2026 at CU Temple on YouTube. Here's a clip.
Was full of dry bones. Let me stop right there. Valley experiences are experiences where it's the opposite of a mountaintop experience. So a mountaintop experience is where you are seeing it with your Christ mind. A valley experience is where you can only see what is right in front of you. In a valley, you're in a gorge, you're surrounded by the mountains. You can't see the truth. So we all have valley experiences where we can't quite see our way out.
And so you gave me that. Let's just keep it real, right? This one's about me. Um, you gave me that, and the way out of the valley is confess the Lord,
That's
right?
it.
To praise your way out of it, to elevate your mind, and I think specifically what it spoke to me directly on is what's the music of your mind, Sheree? Like, what's the
Hmm.
music of your mind while you are where you are? Because it's probably indicative and emphasis, like you're where you are because of the music of your mind.
Yes.
I remember when I was in my 20s, just a few years ago, and I was going through a heartbreak. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a lover, and I forget what Mary J. Blige song I was listening to, but you can pick one out of a hat.
Right.
Because Mary writes heartbreak. She
Hmm.
writes about, love putting you down and trying to figure your way back out of that. But that's the music of my mind. And it's like to continue to draw experiences where I can play those songs,
Yes.
and that valley experience where you can't see a way out. So you said the valley experience is you disconnected from the truth about you.
Absolutely. Because it's just hard to
Talk to me
see
about
in the
that.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
In the experience, it's like you're like in a well, and you can't see that everything you need is right there. Your vision is just blocked by
Mm-hmm.
what you are going through, or what it appears that you're going through. And sometimes you got to talk to those dry bones in the valley and
Yeah.
tell them what is going to happen
Mm-hmm.
without regard to how it appears. You have to speak to it. And the reason I brought up the Keith Pringle song, which I love, is kind of like one of my workout songs. Is, it's got a good beat to it. You can get on the treadmill. The beginning of the song gives you the instructions. Like, if you confess the Lord, call him up. You're saying you are a new thought metaphysician. You're saying you are a follower of the way shower Jesus the Christ. You are saying you are a child of God. If you believe that, then call him up and tell him what you want. But the end of the song gives you what you can really do if you don't know what to call. Just start praising. Can't stop praising his name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before you see what you want to see, speak praise first. That'll pull you up out of the valley so
Mm-hmm.
that you can hear the instructions that are waiting for you, so that you can be obedient to those instructions. You
Mm-hmm.
might have to start with speaking praise first. So
Yeah.
I taught it last in the sermon, but depending on where you are, it might be your first step, because you're in an experience where it's just like doggone it, like I'm exhausted, like I'm tired of fighting. I can't see another way, like just tired to the bone. What can I do? Speak praise.
Mm-hmm.
Speak praise
Mm-hmm.
over everything. Talk, talk, talk. Watch how things move.
So there's a message that in terms of what I'm hearing from this, really and truly remembering, reconnecting, because disconnection is typically what the valley experience is about, is feeling,
Mhm.
just being disconnected. And I think that the disconnection could feel like you just don't have the energy that you want, or that you used to have,
Yeah.
or it's like, so how do I reconnect with all the energy there is, with all the power there is, with all the love there is? And you said to speak to it. I'm going to play this clip because I think that's we are in conversation with our challenge, but we're not speaking life into our desire. We are more combative with the challenge. I'm enticing. I'm with the
Yeah.
challenge that you're going through. But Gavin gives us something to say to the challenge. So let's hear what he has to say.
Speak to the situation. And I mean literally. Talk to it in a way that works for you. Stop speaking lack. Stop speaking ill. Stop speaking hate. Stop speaking judgment. Speak the nature of God into your situation. Release the fear and speak. Can you praise the name when the bones look dry? Because at the end of that song by Keith Pringle, what does the choir keep saying? Can't stop praising his name. I just can't stop praising his name.
Speaking life, right? So if I am someone who is challenged by things going on in our society, like the price of gas, right, being the result of some choices, how do you speak life into that?
Well, and I'll tell this story here. I should probably preach this one day. I don't know how many people I've told this story. I was, I don't know how long ago this was, maybe 8-9 years ago, was hospitalized with just extraordinary pain. The pain was so bad, like woke up middle of the night, drove myself to the hospital. My wife didn't even know I was gone. I told her, and she was just like, okay, like go get some water. Next thing she's like, where are you? I'm like, no, I'm in the ER. They did all these tests on me, and what they saw in those tests had them putting me in an ambulance to go to a better hospital. So that was scary. Like anytime you're in a hospital and the hospital says we're putting you in an ambulance, it's like, so I was in panic mode. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be something serious. And so I just started, call my family, like, this is where I am. And then I called work. I'm a young COO at Christ Universal Temple, and a lot of things were hinging on me the next day. So I called Derek, called Reverend Wells, like, I'm not going to make it tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. I got to work on this. And he just said, hold up. He said, have you prayed yet? No, I hadn't gotten to that yet. Like, I'm still reading this report. And so he prayed, got off the phone, in the ambulance on the way over. I just kept saying over and over again, like, no, the answer to this is no. I don't accept this. And I just said no over and over again, all the way there. Nope. Nah, no. Until I really felt it.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to the next hospital and they put me in the machine, they said, well, we don't see anything. Whatever they saw at first, they no longer saw again. Tested me, never saw it again. Released me a few days later. But I was just speaking on it. And speaking on it with conviction, like so much conviction, I just basically hyped myself up.
Yeah.
The key to that is I had somebody to direct me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to stay in your circles, because anyone can spiral to where you can't get to your good. You can't even get to your own practices. You can't get to what you know works. And sometimes it takes a friend, it takes a leader, it takes a minister, it takes a family member, somebody that can kind of redirect you.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten to the speaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I just said that. I didn't plan to say that. I'll share that in more detail. but it just felt important to say, I'm being obedient right now, even telling that story.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to the speaking, I needed help.
Yeah. Yeah. But right, to get to where the emphasis is the rejection of this, the denial, right? No,
Yeah,
no to
it
whatever
was
they're
straight
saying. Yeah.
denials.
Yeah.
Some things are
No.
affirmations. That was all denials.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
whole ambulance worth of denials.
Yeah. Yeah. It is it's a beautiful thing. And I think that that's, again, why I talk about community so much, is that, I have personally built a beautiful community around me. I got church communities that have been really impactful for my growth. And just, I don't have a person that I would call that will be like, yeah, let's jump off that cliff. You know what I mean? Like it's,
Right.
like I have, I've, and so that may be a place to start, is finding a community, just setting the intention for it. Like, because
Absolutely.
you can discover it. And I when I first moved to Los Angeles, I'd gone to this party, a networking party. And one of the things that happens at least at that particular time in the industry, that I was working in entertainment, is everybody's, it's an exchange. You want to know who's working where so that you can find out if there's an opportunity for you, blah, blah, blah. But what would happen is that if you said something and it wasn't something that they clicked to, you could almost literally see somebody looking beyond you for the next person that they're going to talk to.
Got
right.
it.
And so at that point, I think I was working at Disney. And if I said Disney, I got eye contact. Right.
Got it.
And want to know more about that. Like, what are we doing? And so I knew then I'm not going to make it here if I don't have real relationships. Like, I'm not going to make it.
There's a lot of fake conversations. Got it. Okay.
And mind you, the conversations aren't fake. They're transactional. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with those transactions unless you mistake them for true friendship and relationship. Because the moment that I don't have something to offer you, then I'm going to lose that conversation. And so it just clicked to me. And I started looking for church communities, right? Like, and mind you, I didn't go to church regularly when I was growing up, but I always wanted to. I wanted to be a part of it, but I wanted to be good first. So that's a whole other story. So now I'm so desperate, it don't matter that if I'm good or not. I know that I need to find a God community. So I go literally searching. I go to a church that's very reminiscent of the Missionary Baptist church that my mother, my family belonged to. And I'm like, I'm not doing that here. Like, I'm not doing that. I went to another church that a friend of mine invited me to, a Wednesday Bible study.
Okay.
It's young people. It's going to be great. This church called Faithful Central. I go there and it is literally like 500 young people at church on a Wednesday, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I never even found the person that invited me. It was so many people there. And I'm just like, wow, like this is it. And I'm listening and the message is like, he was reaching the people. I'm looking around like it's some cutie pies in here. Like it wasn't even, the message wasn't even hit me.
Stay focused, Reverend Reed.
Huh?
I said, stay focused, Reed.
No, this is important.
Right.
Because I said I'm looking for community. Like I set an intention for it. And I walked into Up Church. Like this is all maybe the span of 2 weeks. I walk into Up Church. And Up Church, Reverend Delarice, this is Church by an Angel is on the air. It's a height, right? Going there and literally it felt clubbish. Like I couldn't even get into the sanctuary because it was a line and it was packed in there. And the ushers were mean. They were really, they're like bouncers, like they, to get into church. But I came back. Now, usually bad ushers will keep me away. I came back the next week. I'm gonna be early next time so I can get in there and see. And I heard that message and it shifted. It's like, oh, I can create community here. This is a space for me, and but I just set the intention for community is what I'm getting at. And communities came up for me to find where I was resonating. It's not to say there wasn't good in those other places, but it was like my community. So setting the intention for it so that when I'm having an experience, the person I call, the person that maybe even reaches out to me, because that's how great my community is that I'll get a phone call and I'm like, how'd you know?
Yep.
How'd you know? And I love that. I love that that's available and on the table. So the lesson, the message for today was to do 3 hard things: to listen, to obey, and to speak.
Yes.
Listen, obey, and speak. I am so grateful to you for this lesson. This is exactly what I needed to hear. How did it feel? Did you leave something on the table, something that you wish you had said?
Yeah, no, I that could have been, we could have gone for another hour on that.
Right.
But like I said, the last part of it was right thinking,
Mhm.
right speaking, and right action.
Yeah.
Like you have to move your feet also. There are the doing the things that you're supposed to do. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm speaking to myself right now.
Yeah.
But I said, well, I'm just going to stick with speaking. And then, as we talked about here today, to form the community around you
Yeah.
that supports the highest idea you have for yourself is maybe the best way that you can actually do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
have the community around you that supports not who you are now,
Yeah.
supports
Yeah.
the highest idea of what you are becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that, you're going to have the space, you're going to have the instruction, you're going to have the support, everything you need for that becoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
I would
that's
add
it.
that.
Yeah. That's so powerful. And I just I'm grateful for the message. I know that and I trust that, even just this rewind on it is enlightening. We could go all over the place with this, and I know a little bit of it did, but there's so much power in this lesson sermon. So I do want to highly encourage you, if you haven't, or if you want to, you need to listen to it again, even after this conversation. Because one of the things that I really enjoy about your teaching, Gavin, is I love your Bible interpretation. And I think that there in your Bible, in your storytelling, and I think that there's one of the I'm actually literally wrote this one down. Like I'm going to work with one of my coaching clients on Ezekiel 34. Is it 34? I wrote it down, man. Ezekiel 37, right? So talking about the valley of the dry bones, like just a lesson to meditate on. And if you've never studied scripture that way, where you just kind of read it over and over and really think about what you're reading, as opposed to reading to like you get ready to take the SATs where you got to answer questions. It's like, no, like reading to really just kind of let it sit with you and let the messages emerge, and then listen to a lesson interpretation like Gavin gave to even shed greater light. Like that's right now it's on my list, but I'm also sharing it with a client because it was just a very powerful lesson of breaking out of the valley, getting out of the valley. Yeah. Thank you. So you said you left everything on the table and nothing on the table.
Oh yeah, no, we could have gone on and on about, collective consciousness. We could have gone on and on about moving your feet. It's, we'll get it all out eventually. And I'm very grateful to Reverend Dr. Derek B. Wells for allowing me to teach his people here and there.
So what do you have coming
I'm
up
honored.
next?
Next is school. So I am in the Johnny Coleman Theological Seminary. So I'm enjoying that journey. And a lot of what people are getting in my sermons are things that I'm learning in seminary. Also want to always encourage people to go to Amazon, purchase a copy of Mind and Grind. You just type in the name Gavin R. Jackson and it'll show up. And I think I'm going to do another edition of the Mind and Grind brand. I have a book that's kind of boiling in my heart. It was another version of the book that I was writing 4 years ago, and it's been rewritten in my head. So I'm going to force myself to get that done this year.
All right. Listen, we can't wait to have it. There's a unique way you bring the word, and it's time for you to stop being selfish.
Thanks. Can I shout out? I see my sister Barbara.
Yeah.
Sheila. Oh, that is a great testimony. Sheila was thanking me for the lesson and said that she followed an opportunity and it worked out for her. So that warms my heart to hear that. Thank you, Sheila.
Yes.
Oh, and thank you, Vicky. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening in with us live. The lesson series I believe this is the wrap up. This is the end of the spiritual science of success. And so there have been maybe 7 or 8 lessons that are in this series. You can find them at CU Temple. Gav, you still owe me a rewind, dude. We got a rewind on my lesson from a couple weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
We'll get one in the
I
can for
love being in the interviewing chair.
Of course you do.
Switch these boxes. Boom.
Yeah. Well, so we got more good stuff for you. What I want to part on is tap into this spiritual community. I know we talked about communities in general, but if you're hearing my voice, that means you found us somehow, some way. And I want to encourage you to stick with this community, grow with us. You can find Sunday services at CU Temple on YouTube and Facebook. The church is located physically, if you want to walk into the temple and have some fun that way, at 11901 South Ashland Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, because I know the address now. I am y'all know I rock as the online minister, so I'm based in Los Angeles, but it is a true testimony that you can build community, and building online is what our intention is. So thank you all for tuning in. I bless you on your journeys, and don't forget to take your takeaway and put it into play, right? Don't just listen about it. He said, listen, obey, and then speak.
Yes.
Do it. Let's do it. But God bless you all. We'll see you next week on The Rewind.